Earlier this season, we had a very popular compact car comparison. We took 12 cars, we drove them back to back and came up with the winner, the Honda Civic.
And what was amazing was how well the City Jetta did. It actually came in fourth, just after the Ford Focus and the Mazda 3. It was a great comparison, and if you want to have a look at it, go to our website.
The reason why it's amazing is because this City Jetta is based on the Jetta that was introduced in 1999, so it's an old model. Instead of retiring this when they came out with the new Jetta and the new Volkswagen Rabbit, they actually updated the vehicle slightly and they dropped the price well down, and this vehicle has been selling very well. Check out the pricing. A new City Jetta is $16,900. When it was sold as just a Jetta, in 2004, it sold for over $24,000. No wonder it's selling well.
When we did our compact comparison, we had the 07 model available. So Zach and I wanted to check out the 2008 with some of the latest improvements. The City Jetta and the sister car, the City Golf, have been a big hit. So Volkswagen decided to give them both a facelift. The Jetta receives all new front and rear styling with the introduction of headlight and taillight treatments that are more in keeping with today's latest VW offerings. The Golf received a similar treatment. Well, Zach, what do you think of the styling?
Well, you know what? The old model, I never really liked the front single headlight assembly. I like the fact they've got separate high beam and low beam on this car. The back tail lights, though, look like somebody bought them from a tuner shop.
A standout feature for the Jetta has always been the trunk. It's just huge. So even though this is a compact car, the trunk is anything but.
Now, we already mentioned the price of the City Jetta, and what I think is a standout is the interior fit and quality. The materials used on the dash and the doors and the interior generally is typically found in a much more expensive car. A lot of the materials remind me of BMWs. Now, what they've done for 2008, they've added some splashes of faux metal here around the vents in the interior of the car. It breaks up the interior and adds a little bit of flair. Other improvements include a new stereo with MP3 jack, USB port, plus 6 speakers. The material on the seats has been upgraded along with the instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. Speaking of the wheel, it tilts and telescopes, which many of the other vehicles in this class lack. Add to that the height-adjustable driver's seat, and it's easy to get comfortable.
The only problem with the Jetta is that some of the safety features are sold as extras or part of a package. These include side and side curtain airbags as well as stability control. Now keep in mind, stability control isn't even offered on some of the compact cars that are sold in Canada. Now if you add the comfort package, stability control, and the extra airbags, the Jetta costs you over $20,000, but that's still a lot less than it was several years ago.
The biggest mechanical change from the old City Jetta to the new City Jetta is the inclusion of a 6-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission. Not only does it have 2 additional gears, it goes from 4-speed to 6-speed, but it also now has a sport mode, which really wrings out the most of this 4-cylinder engine. The same 2-liter motor that's been in VW products for years continues to power the City Jetta. At only 115 horsepower, you might think the Jetta would be a dog, but it isn't. With the new 6-speed automatic, it shoots off the line easily, passes with ease, and cruises on the highway like a good German car should. I was pleasantly surprised. On paper, this car is a screaming deal. It has a long list of standard features. It's very comfortable. It's nicely finished, much better interior materials than you get in any other car in this class. The engine is a little bit old, but it does a great job, especially matched now to this 6-speed automatic transmission. Handles well, it's comfortable, it's all those things. But, and here's the big but, and the J.D. Power and Associates long-term dependability studies that they do, these cars really do not rate that well. They're well below the industry average when it comes to quality, so it's really hard to get behind them. On the surface, great, but in the long run, is it going to be a trustworthy car?
The ride is very comfy, and the suspension soaks up bumps with ease. Now, some people might find that the ride's a little bit too soft, but when you throw the Jetta into a corner, it exhibits just a little bit of body roll, and then it feels quite stable. Now, the Jetta's always had really nice road manners, and even a 10-year-old version of this vehicle is still up to the job. One of the reasons the ride is so comfy is because of the small 15-inch wheels with big sidewalls. The brakes are discs on all 4 corners, and ABS is standard. One thing that is noticeable when compared to more current designs is the engine noise. When you put your foot into the throttle, engine noise makes its way into the cabin. It seems more pronounced in the city. On the highway at steady speeds when the car is in 6th gear, it's less noticeable. Volkswagen owners are very loyal to their brand, and I think they're going to be very impressed with the updated styling, the new available 6-speed automatic transmission, the very comfy ride, and of course the decent starting price. I also think there's going to be a lot of buyers out there that are looking at the competition, such as the Ford Focus, the Hyundai Elantra, and the Toyota Corolla, and for the reasons that I listed earlier, they're going to become new Volkswagen customers.
It's interesting, Volkswagen has found a nice little niche for themselves. They're taking these older products, they're updating them slightly, dropping the price, and selling plenty of them into the marketplace. The City Golf and the City Jetta are selling very well. So what did you think of the Jetta?
Well, you know what, Zach? I was really impressed with the updated interior. It's really easy to find a comfortable driving position. It still has a really big trunk, so there's lots of room back there, and you can't argue with the starting price. However, that being said, on the downside, I wish that they would have included more safety features such as the side and curtain airbags in that starting price. A lot of other vehicles in this class are already doing that. And as we mentioned before, the interior is just a bit too noisy for me. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. I think there's great value in this car. The interior fit and finish and the materials used are way ahead of the pack. I also like the seating position and the fact that it comes with telescopic steering. On the driving side, now it has a 6-speed automatic transmission. It really rings out the most of a very efficient 4-cylinder engine. On the downside, I find the back seat really quite pinched and small when you compare it to, say, the new Honda Civic. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Also, the styling, they've added updated elements to it, but it really looks a little forced to me. And the long-term reliability, when you go to jdpower.com and you look at their long-term dependability study, which is a 3-year snapshot of how these cars fare, Volkswagen is well below the industry average. So the question for you is, about $17,000 for a City Jetta, or maybe you're going to go and look at a Honda Civic, which has the highest rating from jdpower.com. Where would you put your money? This car is almost 10 years old.
Well, you know, Zach, it's funny because it would be a really tough decision to make. And as we mentioned before in our compact comparison, it actually came in 4th. So overall, it's actually not a bad car. However, that being said, personally, I'd probably go for something a little bit newer and more updated.
For complete specs, go to our website at drivingtelevision.com.